All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my guy, Loyalist. And today we are going to break down the Indianapolis Colts going to Minnesota to fight them pesky Vikings tomorrow, Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And please forgive us. Some of us still aren't on top of the world right now due to illness, but we are here to do what we can and discuss this game with you. How's things going in your neck of the woods, Loyalist?
Well, I mean, me personally, I'm getting stronger every day, but this weather, man, it's sucking the will to live out of me. It's just been gloomy and gray. I think we need to get a good Colts victory to help bring the sunlight back out for a little bit. What do you think?
Well, I started to see the snow flurries, and next thing you know, all I've got is, dashing through the snow in a one horse. I'm hoping for a white Christmas. I ain't seen one in a while. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't like the cold. My joints can't stand it. But there's just something about having snow on the ground during Christmas. It's wonderful. Now, I know some of you live in areas where that just is not possible. The majority of you, I know, is here in Indiana and do see snow occasionally. But for those of you that live in Florida or, I don't know, Japan, Texas, wherever you're at, I hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, whether that's Christmas or Ramadan or whatever it is that you celebrate. For me, though, it's Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So Merry Christmas to everyone.
And that white snow just seems to help bring, like you said, bring that spirit, because let's be honest, it's getting rough to find that Christmas spirit. Then I sit there and have a conversation with my son, and it's like, oh, okay. I mean, he reminds me, there we go. So yeah, the white snow helps for sure.
Now, it helps turn that frown upside down. For Colts fans, we all understand that. I'm actually doing a headstand right now, and I'm not really smiling. From what the play has been over the last few weeks for the Indianapolis Colts, we all are feeling that. But could that change tomorrow? That's an interesting figure because, let's face it, the Indianapolis Colts finally got themselves a bye week, and coaches were able to sit down for the first time all year as a group with their new head coach and new play callers and everything, and draw up game plans and try to do what they can to get the team right. And then all the players get a chance to actually get healthy. Now, for the Colts, that doesn't help a couple players. But for the most part, if you had a nick or a bruise or something like that, it's had time to heal up. We're going to get into the injury report, actually, before we get further into anything. Speaking of, let's go ahead and jump into it right now. As you see right here on our screen, we got 2 people out and 1 doubtful, and that's not a good sign, because 2 of those guys on that, out/doubtful list is important people to our defense.
Kenny, and actually, Brandon Faison has been downgraded to out also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's not good. No matter what you think of Brandon Faison, his play has stepped up considerably over the last 3-4 weeks, and has played very, very well. Kenny is about as good as a slot corner as you could possibly get. And we're down 2 defensive backs against one of the best wide receiver groups that we're going to face all season.
Yeah. This is a skill set wise. This Vikings receiving core and tight end, with TJ Hawkinson, they are a force to be reckoned with, and you want to have as many as your soldiers available. I mean, you said you lose 2 guys in that secondary. Now all of a sudden you're looking at Tony Brown and you're looking at Dallas Flowers going, hey, be ready to go, guys.
Right. And then of course we got Mike Strawn still dealing with a concussion. He is out. I don't know where the concussion. Do you know where the concussion came from?
In practice, they said that he had gotten it Tuesday and took a pretty good hit. I think the way I understood it, he hit the ground. So, but yeah, it's hopefully he'll be ready to go next week, and but this week it was just too quick of a turnaround because he was there Tuesday and then Wednesday he was out in there.
Absolutely. Now, so that's 3 guys out. Braden Smith will be playing. He had an illness and he came back from it just fine. So it looks like our offensive line is good. Yay. Because I would hate to have to see certain guys be jumping in there at right tackle if because we've seen what that looks like, and we don't need no more of that on in our lives. At least not this year. That we've had enough. We've had enough. Okay. Now as we move through this and we look at the other guys for the Vikings, they got a bunch of questionables. Okay. They have some nicks and bruises on their team. And a lot of it has to do with their offensive line and their backs, their defense, right? Cam Dantzler, cornerback, illness. He's going to be questionable. Harrison Phillips, their nose tackle, questionable. That's a huge hit. Garrett Brady, another big one, because he's the starting center, questionable. Daniel Hunter, all right, second on the team in sacks. Is the bookend to the other dude, right? Mr. Smith over there. And he's questionable. And then linebacker Patrick Jones is dealing with an illness. Just started, it looks like, yesterday. So that, if it's the kind of illness that's been running around the Colts, he ain't playing tomorrow.
No, sir. He ain't playing tomorrow. Next week is going to take a lot of struggles because this has not been something that goes away in a day or two.
No, absolutely not. And man, I saw James Lynch and I about like, he came out of retirement and left the Broncos but no, it's James, not John. And he's a nose tackle and not a safety. So, but every time I see Lynch, it just kind of like, wow, a real big name right there. Throughout history here. So you see that they're full of nicks and bruises. The Colts do not have nicks and bruises. What do you see from this injury report between the Colts and the Vikings?
Okay, first off, I look, I'm going to look from the inside out. That Garrett Bradbury injury is very problematic, especially when you sit there and combine that with the fact that they got the rookie, right guard and stuff. So he's not been playing the best, and Bradbury's helped sort of mask some of the inefficiencies and stuff, but over the last game or two where he's been injured and stuff, you've seen a notice drop off. And then you sit there and you think on the other side, who's that going to affect for us, the Colts? It's like Defoe and Grover, and it's like, look, anytime these guys you want to be 100% healthy against. So anytime that they see a chink in your armor, that's definitely going to be a point of emphasis. And then, like you said, I can't sit there and ignore that Harrison is their dude. Harrison is their rock in the secondary along with Peterson. And it's like you sit there and you put question marks at that area. To me, this injury report affects how I want to see the Colts play this game because of those 2 particular players.
Absolutely. Now, I don't see a lot of their, big playmakers on offense. So it looks like they're going to have a fully healthy, playmakers versus a beat up Indianapolis Colts secondary, as we talked about already, with Brandon Faison and Kenny Moore being out. That's a scary situation to me. James in here says, we got Rodgers and Flowers that can fill in, but the problem is Rodgers will probably go in at nickelback. Adam Thielen is one of the best route runners in football, period. Okay.
Now, you don't think they'll do what they did against the Cowboys? Because they had Blackman playing a lot of the nickel in place of, but the thing is,
what happened with the Cowboys?
Yeah, well, for 3 quarters, it looked like, hey, this is working. It was that 4th quarter was like, ugh. But I guess my thing is, you sit there and you say, what about we got Rodgers? But you got to realize Rodgers was already getting the majority of the snaps. Okay. And then you sit there and you take away the face on, like I said, now you're delving into this unproven. I mean, I forget the young man's name, so I apologize, but we even elevated a young man from the practice squad to give a little added depth in that secondary. But the thing is Isaiah Rodgers Sr. and Gilly, and then you start looking at it and it's like, okay, now the depth is, thank goodness that we do have such a good deep safety room. And like I said, that where you can bring Blackman in and help out a little bit at that nickel, because guys, you know how much trouble this team has with tight ends. The Colts have struggled with tight ends for years, and TJ Hawkinson is a guy that will make you pay if you don't pay attention to him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a good thing outside of the obvious, Darius Shaquille-Leonard being out, our linebacker group is healthy. I have noticed that number 58 has actually done a pretty good job covering tight ends over this past season. So that's going to help out a little bit. And then, of course, we do have, when we're in a situation where we feel like normally when you're scared of a tight end and there isn't a receiver out there that scares the hell out of you, you end up putting Gilly on him like we did against Kansas City. But that's not the case in this game. All right. Gilly is going to have his hands full all night. All right. It's just that is what it is.
And that communication and how these guys are communicating, because like you said, they've got just guys having the best season that a wide receiver's had maybe ever, depending on how he finishes off this year. Hopefully the Colts will slow him down, but then it's not like their second receiver is a slouch. I mean, Adam Thielen, he's being overshadowed by all the amazing things that Justin Jefferson's doing, but he's still a legitimate threat. So like you said, that the secondary is going to really have to communicate very clearly and concisely.
Absolutely. James says, tomorrow's my birthday. Hey, happy birthday tomorrow. If we don't see you in the live stream tomorrow, then definitely happy birthday. My father's birthday is actually on Sunday. So that's kind of cool that we got some birthdays around here. Guys, we're 12 minutes in, so I'm going to go ahead and take this moment to say, if you have not yet, please smash that like button. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, and tag that notification bell so that you're notified next time we go live or upload a video. I see we've only got about 10, 11 people in here. If you want to help support this channel, besides hitting the like button, a huge help would be sharing it to your favorite social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever it is, Reddit, whatnot, by using that red share button right there, just below Loyalist. What's up?
Yeah, no, I guess guys, I'm telling you right now, I know, and we really appreciate you guys being here, but if you could share it, because it's rough. I get it. The Colts haven't given us the season we hope, and maybe we're not giving you the content, but we really were trying to get this thing popping here a little bit, and hopefully we can get enough good energy in there tomorrow during the live game reaction to help Willis to enjoying a good Colts game there in Minnesota.
Absolutely. Now, this is a game that is 100%, no matter how well the defense does or doesn't do, no matter how well the wide receivers on our team does or doesn't do, it's going to be all about turnovers. Period. Turnovers. We cannot have another fourth quarter or even the game like the Cowboys, or frankly, all year long. Okay. We have to put a lid, a cap, a cork right on top of the turnovers and stop that crap, because you give the ball away 2, 3, 4, 17 times a game, you're not going to win anything. And offensively and defensively, we played well enough to win games. I mean, we're a top 10 offense in the NFL when it comes to yardage, or was. Now, but the problem is, we can't score because we turned the ball over on the wrong side of the field. And then we got an issue of, shooting ourselves in the foot with penalties and taking sacks and things of that nature. Is this nuts? This has to change starting now. The Colts still legitimately have a mathematical shot at making the playoffs. All they got to do is win out on their end. And it's possible. I really do believe it's possible to walk into Minnesota, which in my opinion is the toughest game left on the schedule, and win. Yeah. I really do feel that way.
And you're definitely more on the positive side of things. I think it's possible, but this game scares me. You know what I mean? I look at this game and it's like, man, I love Gilly. Don't get me wrong, but Jefferson's a beast. You know, he I mean, you can play perfect coverage on this young man and he's still going to be able to make some plays. So it's not, he's one of those players, you know, you don't try to stop him. You just try to limit the impact that he has. And the thing is,
he's got 1,500 yards receiving already, and there's still 4 games left in the season. I mean, shoot.
Yeah. I love what, if you guys haven't, you know, if you're a Patreon member, you get to watch Believe in Colts and stuff, the recording and stuff, and watching Lawrence just going, my God, you know, because Lawrence knew he was having a good year, but once he's seen the numbers and stuff, he was just like, you got to be kidding.
Absolutely. That's kind of shocking. Even Gerard was like, 1,500? He legitimately could hit 2,000 yards receiving this year, you know? And if that's not MVP, you know, in my opinion, the only quarterback so far that's really put on a show is Jalen Hurts, you know, and an argument can be made that that's a lot of the team, not just Jalen, right? I'm thinking the guy that probably matters the most to his team MVP wise right now is probably Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, but you know, you get back into the, you know, like last year with JT, you know, they really just need to rename the award. You know what I mean? They just need
best quarterback of the NFL.
Yeah, quarterback of the year type of thing. Yeah, because like you said, you look at what Jefferson has done. I mean, guys, he's getting ready. If he can get, you know, and Gerard brought this up, you know, if he could get a little more effective on scoring touchdowns, this young man could do something that's not been done before. You know, what is it? 6 touchdowns currently, I think. So if he could get 4 or 5 more touchdowns and then, you know, another 500 yards, which not this week, you know, do it next week and the next 3 games. But I mean, this young man has a chance to break 2,000 yards receiving in a season, which I understand. You have 1 extra game, but it's only 1 game, man. It's like, yeah, these numbers are just, they're almost so gaudy that it's just like, come on.
The Indianapolis Colts defensive line is so underrated this year. So even in pass rush, because right now they are ranked 4th in the NFL in hurries, 4th, and yet they have blitzed the 6th least in the NFL as a whole defensive unit. That tells me right there, our front 4 has been doing the job. They ain't always getting home. They're like 16th in the NFL in sacks, which is, you know, midway. But they're putting pressure on quarterbacks and forcing them to throw the ball a little early. And that could really help against a team that has this kind of offense.
Yeah, especially when you look at this Vikings, and the thing is they're like the Colts. You know, they have almost what's becoming an outlier. You know, they've got a pocket passer at the quarterback position. Yes, you want to get home and get some sacks on Kirk Cousins, but guys, you get pressure on him. You make him move out of the pocket. He's not a Jalen Hurts or a Kyler Murray, or, you know, I mean, he's not that guy that's going to sit there and do a lot to extend these plays. And yeah, he can get out of the pocket, but I put him more in the vein of Matt Ryan as far as, you know, he has that pocket awareness, but you don't, outside of the 39-yard run before you bring that up again. He's not the guy that you expect to go and gash you for all those yards.
Matt has 3 10-plus yard runs this year. Matt Ryan does.
But my point is these teams are not wanting that to be the outcome from their quarterback. No. So you get, and to me, this game on the defensive side, I love our secondary, but like I said, you look at these receivers. So for me, on the defensive side of things, the first and second most important thing in this game is getting pressure on Kirk Cousins. You get pressure. I mean, he's only had 9 interceptions, which is pretty good considering what you've seen from him in years past. So, I mean, he's doing better at protecting the ball. And even in their losses, I mean, what was it? The Lions, I mean, he threw for four and a quarter or something. And I mean, but they just weren't getting in end zone. Colts, there you go, man. You know what? Get some pressure, get some sacks on them, get some hits on them, maybe even get a turnover. Like you said, winning that turnover battle is massive because let's be honest, I don't think if it became into a shootout that this Colts offense would even stand a chance trying to maintain the scoring prowess that this Vikings offense has.
You brought it up a little bit earlier. Historically, Kirk Cousins is known for gift wrapping early Christmas presents to teams who get pressure on him. Okay, so that's what we need. We need about 4 or 5 gift wrap presents, specially delivered by guys like DeForest, Buckner, Yannick and Ngakoue, and Grover Stewart and Quiddy Pett, because Pay's back, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
yes,
we got our starting defensive line back. Let's get some gift wraps. Let's get some guys out there getting some pressure on him and forcing him into no-win situations. We'll call it that way. No-win situations.
Yeah, and the thing is, this Vikings team, after that Lions game last week, it's sort of like the Eagles when we played the Eagles. It's like, the Eagles are undefeated, and then the week before the Colts play them, boom, they take their first loss. Well, the Vikings have been on this uptick, and then all of a sudden, take the L against the Lions, and it's like, now, did that wake them up? Did that piss them off? Did that, make them more aware or whatever? And it's like, man, but it is what it is. The thing is it doesn't make that interior offensive line block any better. I mean, it doesn't make them any healthier. So, push that center of that pocket. I mean, even when these guys are healthy, they struggle with really good, talented D tackles and nose tackles. And it's like, guys, we got a couple of those. So let's let these guys get in there and get in there often this week.
Absolutely. Now, another guy that we haven't talked about on that offense that we absolutely have to keep an eye on. We got to have somebody's eyes on him at all times, and that's Dalvin Cook. Okay? Because this running back can do it all. He'd catch out of the backfield. He could run it between the tackles. He could block. He can deliver freaking pizza. I don't know what. He could do just about anything you ask him to, right?
Yeah. And there's another guy that the game that he had against the Lions with the 2 fumbles and stuff. I mean, 1.2 yards per carry or something. I mean, the Lions really stifled him. And let's be honest, that Lions defense isn't as good as the Colts defense. So if we can just sit there and if we could sit there and just duplicate that, but yet do it at a higher level, because like I said, the secondary being thinned out like it is, you really want to just get these guys. But like you said, if Dalvin Cook goes off and starts gashing us for 3 or 4 yards a carry, then it's going to, as we all know, make it much easier to get access to Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. And it's just like, I really want to sit there and keep Dalvin Cook. I don't want to see him get over 50 yards carry, for the game.
In this game, I think offense, no matter how well our defense is going to play, and I expect them to play very, very well after the fourth quarter that we saw against Dallas a couple weeks ago. I think they'll come out with a chip on their shoulder and be like, that shit ain't happening again. But even against this kind of offense, they're still going to move the ball occasionally. They're going to put points on the board. You're going to need to score at least 24 to beat this Minnesota Vikings team. And in order to do that, this offense starts with number 28, right?
See, and I know this ain't going to be popular, but I look at the secondary. I mean, the Vikings are 16th in the league on stopping the rush, but then they're like 32nd in the league on, and normally I would sit there and say wholeheartedly, yes, JT all day. But I'm thinking, you know what? If this offensive line has played better, the offensive line has played better over the last few weeks. If you could get Matt Ryan to open things up with the pass a little bit early, you know what I mean? And who knows, maybe pop one of them off. Then let JT. This is just one of those rare games where I wouldn't mind sitting there and setting up the run via the pass. because like I said, I get it. JT's a beast and a stud. But the thing is once you loosen that pocket, that's when JT's going to get more than big gashing runs and stuff. No, I'm not saying I want JT to only touch the ball 5 times in the first quarter or something. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, you know what? Let's incorporate some of these down the field passes a little bit more early to help loosen that running box and stuff for JT.
5 touches a quarter is 20 touches in a game.
Not enough. And that's the thing. I feel like a hypocrite when I say this because I've always been that feed JT and feed him often. But I'm just saying, I really look at the secondary. I mean, and the Vikings have just not played good on, stopping the pass all year. And the thing is if Matt Ryan can he doesn't have to carry the team. If he can just do enough to get us jump started early in the game and then get, even maybe, I know this is could be shot, but maybe if we get a lead, for heaven's sake, then you just sit there and let JT do what JT does. I know JT can do it if he has to do it on his own, but I would just really like to see the passing game get off to a hot start early in the game.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was setting you up to see if you were going to go with the whole feed JT like you normally do. The Minnesota Vikings have the worst pass defense in the NFL. They give up 283 yards on average per game through the air. They give up 403 yards total every game. That is the worst defense in today's NFL. The Indianapolis Colts have weapons. The most important thing to do is not feed JT. The most important thing to do is to give Matt Ryan 2 to 3 seconds to throw the damn football.
Yes. And then Matt Ryan, my guy. I feel like better over the last couple of weeks. Not right. I'm not saying that they're where we want them to be, but they have played better. But I really want to sit there and just give them time. And then when you have the time, Matt, make the connections, throw the balls, hopefully over the bye week, because we saw in that Dallas game, there just seemed to be the timing wasn't right or the location of you cannot do that because no matter what, Patrick Peterson's out there, JP's best friend, we found out, this week on Believe, he's out there, you throw a bad ball in his way, he's still going to make you pay, no matter how poorly that secondary's played this year. But man, I'll tell you right now, if you could just sit there and get Michael Pittman Jr., get Parris Campbell, get Alec Pierce, get these guys rolling, even a little bit of Ashton Doolin, and then soften things up, and then you can use your tight ends and JT. And just, like I said, I would love to sit there and watch the Colts go and control this game. The thing is early in the year, it was the offensive line. Now the offensive line is playing better. And then now the quarterback play from Matt Ryan has, downgraded. And it's like, that's where I have trouble saying, yes, the Colts should win this easily. Otherwise, I love this matchup as far as, the strengths and weaknesses. But when you sit there and you bring in the turnovers and you just, like I said, bring in the missing the targets. And I'm not saying missing them drastically, just missing them, that ball would have been in front of them instead of off of his hip and stuff like that. We got to clean that stuff up. So hopefully they got in there in the lab this week and the bye week and stuff and maybe worked out a few of those kinks.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that some new plays over the past 2 weeks have been drawn up, thrown in the playbook. Mm-hmm. That would be kind of nice. I want to see the reason why I want to see at least 3 seconds for Matt Ryan to sit in the pocket is to be able to find not just the open guy, the one-on-one matchups, right? That's what I want to see. I want to see the one. I don't want to see him have to throw into double coverage to Michael Pittman Jr., because he did that a lot the last couple weeks, and it's just not a good situation. And then, of course, you're talking about the miscommunications that he's had with the rookie Alec Pierce, right? Pierce is going one way, he's throwing the other. We need to get that figured out as well. And then, of course, you got drops and just general miscommunications. Honestly, this is a game that I feel like our receivers should have a great game, against this secondary. I really do. I understand Patrick Peterson is out there and Harrison may or may not play, but still, gotta play. Mm-hmm. And the guy that's really stepped up this year I think, is the guy we need to really focus on. Get Parris Campbell some open looks, some drag routes, some crossers, anything of that nature that you could look. Again, I've been begging for screens and for reverses or jet sweeps for Parris Campbell all year since Jeff Saturday became the head coach. We've seen that a little bit. All right. Yeah. Let's see more, because the man makes plays with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and the thing is you still got JT. Use JT a little bit more in the passing game if you want to feed JT the ball. Put more pressure on that secondary. Let JT get out in space, and then, like I said, I mentioned the tight ends. Jelani Woods is a mismatch for any human being in the NFL pretty much, so it's like.
And there's not a linebacker out there that can cover Kylan Granson.
No, and that's where, so like I said, and I'm not saying that I want to be void of these short passes and screen passes, but I do want to see a little bit, that mid-range, and I wouldn't even mind if the offensive line gives Matt Ryan time. I wouldn't even mind seeing a couple longer balls, because the thing is screen passes are great, but it doesn't always loosen up that box, for JT. And the thing is once you get that there, JT is going to be your more consistent producer. JT is going to be the guy, if you can get a lead, that he's going to continue to help you as long as he also secures that ball and keeps it in the possession of the Colts and stuff. He's going to get you what you need to be able to maintain that lead. And the thing is I think the Colts would love to sit there and get a lead and just sort of grind this Vikings team down, because guys, the Vikings, no matter how dynamic they've been and stuff, they haven't been blowing the doors off of teams very much at all this year. Most of their wins are one score or less type of wins. And it's like, the Colts, if you can get in that position late in the game with Matt Ryan, we saw earlier in the year, that Matt Ryan, who was leading the team down the field and stuff, along with this offensive line who's playing better, that's a better recipe for a comeback or for putting a final score on the board at the end of the game than quite honestly what we've seen all year from this Colts offense.
All right, AIV brings up a very, very big point, and it's a frustrating point that I've seen. Vikings will probably blitz the hell out of them. Teams have been doing that a lot this year, and it's been successful almost every single time the opposing defense blitzes. Here's my thought process on that. You need to start getting guys like Jelani Woods, Mo Alley Cox, and Kylan Granson on a figure when they notice that it is a big blitz where they're sending 6 or more people to where it's an overload. You do not have enough people to block all these guys. Have them. A lot of teams understand this. Have them just go north and turn around. Just step forward 3 yards and turn around. And then Matt Ryan can just lob it right over the front of that defense, all that pass rush, lob it right over there. And then all those guys that blitzed, that's an open area now for the tight end to just go. We got to start doing stuff like that, because if we don't start doing that, and Matt Ryan is sitting there going, I need someone to block this extra 9th guy that's coming down the field. At some point, somebody's freaking open. All right. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. And another thing that sort of helps out, the Vikings, if they keep blitzing, that's going to put a lot more focus on that left tackle spot. And to me, this week is a great game for Mr. Ryman. This is a good measuring stick game, because he's going to have a tall task on his hands tonight. But now we'll see. Week 1, week 2, we saw, week 3, we saw what, a lackluster performance and stuff. But here again, I feel like he is one of those younger players that has stepped up in this latter half of the season and stuff, and has really improved his game. So I'm very interested to see how does he hold up against these edge rushers for the Vikings, because you get one-on-one against these guys, and it's a full 60-minute work. But you know what? I'm really excited to see how Ryman holds up to that. Does that mean that he doesn't give up any pressures? And I mean, I hope, but to sit there and say that that's my expectation, no. But if he can keep Matt Ryan clean, allow him, like I said, allow him to air the ball out a little bit. I'm not saying all the time, drop for 40-yard bombs or anything, but I'm saying that those 15, 20-yard passes and stuff, man, I'm telling you right now, that is going to go a long way to really getting some concern in this Vikings team coming down the stretch.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some of these guys out there, and I want to see what changes, because there needs to be, obviously, with the bye week, new coaching system in, basically, new look. There needs to be changes after what happened in the fourth quarter against the Cowboys. I want to see what has been implemented, okay? Especially going into a very rowdy Minnesota Vikings house. I want to see what we're going to be able to do out there.
Just real quick, have you dove into the game enough? Did you see anything obviously the offense was putting the defense at a disadvantage, but let's be honest, we've heard that record many times this season, and they've always stepped up. What was it in the fourth quarter that stood out to you that was just like, this is the biggest key to why that deluge? I mean, because let's be honest, you look at the first three quarters of that game, and you're like, man, these guys are really balling out. It was like that Eagles game, except the Eagles game was even much later than the Cowboys game. But that fourth quarter, we were down 2, and then all of a sudden, no team has scored that many points on in the history of the league. I don't know that there's been any team that has scored that many points in a quarter. I don't even see what it really was. One thing that stuck out to me.
Defensively, it was an issue of, and this is all honest, they were having trouble tackling in the first place. Mm-hmm. And then with everything starting to unravel on offense, it felt like that the defense kind of went a little bit lackluster in the fourth quarter, the second half of the fourth quarter. Right? They knew it was bad. It was bad. Yeah. And they knew that the shit was rolling downhill against them. And no matter what they could do, no matter what they did, they just couldn't do anything. Offensively, it was a lot of miscommunication.
Yeah, offensively, we know the quarterback play for me, that just stuck out. But then, like I said, I really do put a lot of the poor performance, but man, there were still just some plays where it just looked way too easy for that Cowboys offense in that fourth quarter. And I was just like, what in the world is it? Because like I said, it's not like this team isn't familiar with being, the quick turnovers and stuff. But I guess it's sort of like that quicksand game. Once it started going bad, no matter how hard they fought, they just seemed to sink deeper and deeper into the pit.
Absolutely. Now, Skylar and Kirsten, what's up? Appreciate you. I understand you're welcome to your opinion on that. However, I will never come on here and tell you how the Colts should lose a game. Okay? That's not what you come in and you talk about what the Colts could do to win a game, right? How you lose a game, that's simple, not try. But we're always going to come in and say what they need to do to win the game. And in my opinion, there's a lot that they can do with the worst defense in the NFL. We have one of the better defenses in the NFL, so it's going to be an interesting game. What is the number one personnel matchup you're looking forward to in this game?
I don't want to say a matchup. I want to say a philosophy. How does this Colts defense, with their depleted secondary, how do they slow down the skill players? Thielen, Jefferson. How do we slow these guys down? I honestly believe Grover and Defoe and that D-line and the linebackers are going to do good against Cook. Okay, as a whole, they've played really solid all year. And they've been really good at not letting these teams be a dual threat. So I have to I have to sit there and believe in that. But man, how do we sit there and slow down this secondary? What is the scheme? Because like I said, me personally, I don't want Gilly one-on-one against Jefferson all the time, or Isaiah. I want, assists, give assists. I want more of a one-on-one situation on a Thielen, you know what I mean? And then pay attention to Hawkinson. But to me, Justin Jefferson, we've got to find a way to where he doesn't just take this game over and make it unattainable for an offense that hasn't proven to be able to score a whole lot of points over the season.
I'll tell you what, if our pass rush can get in there, then we could play zone 90% of the time, and a tight zone, not, backed off 10-yard zone, but a tight zone, and have one hell of a game. But we need the pass rush. We need the pass rush for that to happen. But to me, the biggest matchup is going to be Dalvin Cook versus our linebackers. Okay. We're talking about all these past games and all, Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. I understand that. Cook is the guy they go to on 3rd and short. Okay. Whether it's a quick little screen pass to him or handing him the football. We got to stop him on 3rd damn down and make him punt. All right. So Cook is the guy to me. Justin Jefferson's going to get his chunk plays occasionally. It's what happens. You get him off the field on 3rd down. That's the big point. Cook is the guy you got to stop, in my opinion.
And like I said, I love having Defoe and Grover in this matchup for that exact purpose. Real quick, guys, we've been in here for about 42 minutes, so I want to make sure, if you haven't already, please make sure that you smash that like. Hit that subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Make sure you ring that notification bell. That way you are notified that anytime that we go live. And also, if you got a minute, get in there and share it out, this stream and stuff, and maybe, let us know your thoughts in the chat and stuff.
Absolutely. We're about, like you said, we're about 42 minutes in. We've got now 20. We finally broke 20 people watching. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. I think now I've already posted what I think that this score is going to be on the Loyalist Colts.
I got to pull this up because
go ahead.
Basil, I mean, this is one of the more positive and so I'm going to shout out Basil here. Says, I think that the D-line will do fine as long, Yannick doesn't sell out on the upfield rush and giving up the contain. Yeah, that's right. If you're bringing the pressure with those 4, you got to keep your gap discipline and let your linebackers fill those gaps.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. That's something Matt Eberflus was really big into while he was here, right? Make sure you get the gaps filled. Gus Bradley's a little different. Gus Bradley's more about attack, make the guys in the backfield move, and that way that allows the rest of your defense to react and adjust. It's worked out for the most part this year, that attack style, so we'll see. It is a little scary, though. We're at the point, those of you watching, drop your score predictions right now in the live chat as Loyalist tells us what his prediction and how he thinks this Colts game is going to go.
All right, this is a tough one for me because you guys know I'm always going to predict if I can see a way to win, and I can. But my goodness, this is a tall task because I just don't trust this offense to score enough points. Whether it's through turnovers or whether it's through – I'm really struggling and believing in this Colts offense to do enough. But like I said, we've sat here for 20, 30 minutes showing the ways that there is the right pieces there to make it happen. You just have to really clean up a lot of things. I think to sit there and say that the Colts are going to win this one would just that means that they're going to have to find a way to score more than 24 points. I don't think 24 points wins a game against this dynamic offense. And that's where I'm just having trouble because now had Kenny Moore and Brandon Faison, I'd have a lot easier time because then I think our defense would be able to slow down the offense of the Vikings much better than what I'm worried. But all right, I'm going to do it just because I'm going to let my fandom kick in. I still give the Colts this one, I can't 27 Colts and then 24 Vikings. But like I said, I wish I was as confident as you are this week about this one, because these two cornerbacks missing is a huge red flag to me. And then, like I said, this offense they've shown game after game after game, not how are they going to win games, but how are they going to lose games, whether it's through turnovers or just it's just, there you go. That's where I'm at. 27-24 Colts over the Vikings, but I don't know how confident I am in that one.
All right. Well, you could go check out my prediction. I promise you the Colts at least cover. All right. Over on the latest episode of Believe in Colts. What's up, Jack? Glad to see you come in. He says we're going to hit 30 for the second time this year.
That would be fantastic. Fantastic.
Absolutely. James says the same thing. All right. I'll tell you what. Gerard and I both are on the same page in this. All right. And I think you'll be surprised. So make sure you go and check out that. And then, of course, we'll be talking to Rod. We couldn't talk to Rodney this week because it's Saturday game and practices started on Monday, which is Tuesday, which is normally his day off, and so he couldn't come in. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll definitely be able to talk about the game and review it. But now here's what I'm saying. You got to remember, even with a couple guys out on our defense, we have depth everywhere, right? So, and our defense, even with the guys missing, is a hell of a lot better than the Lions or the majority of the defenses the Vikings have faced. All right, 24-17, that's fine. That's fine. I understand. I get why some people are going to pick the Vikings to win this game. I understand. They got a high-powered offense, and the Colts just seem to just give other offenses the ball. Like, here, go ahead, score some more. But
did anything change with the injuries, the injury report, and seeing Kenny Moore and Brandon Faison? Because I know you recorded the Colts.
Yeah.
Or the Believe in Colts.
Yeah, we record on Tuesdays. No, it don't change. It didn't change. I mean, that's still. I think Rodgers will end up playing nickel. I do.
Okay, so who you got on the corner
then? That's interesting. Is it Brown?
Is it Brown? Is it Flowers? Brown. I don't even know where because we haven't haven't had that problem this year. So this is another.
Either way, that side will have help over the top. I promise you.
Just let the young guy play over Jefferson or whatever, and then let Gilly just shut down Thielen.
We'll see what happens. But guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. I did not play a single thing. Not a single one. Oh my goodness. I'm going to go ahead and play one. Guys, okay, first off, go check out our Patreon. All right. We had another good Patreon this past week. It's only $5 a month. Tell them, Loyalists, what they get in the Patreon.
All right, guys. Like I've been talking to you about, you get all the behind-the-scenes looks from the Believe in Colts. You get to see a little bit of the interaction between JP and Rodney McLeod and Lawrence and stuff. You get to hear a little bit of the nitty-gritty that not everybody does. And then you also get – nice thing is you get to view the entire – because they record 3 episodes, but they do it all at the same time. So you get that. Patreon, like Lawrence said, every Wednesday we have, or almost every Wednesday we have Patrons where you guys can come up and be on camera if you choose, or just at least be able to be heard more than just in the chat. Not to mention that anytime Lawrence or I go and do any other channels, content or whatever that we can share on there and stuff, we do that as well. So guys, for $5 a month, I mean, between that and the Discord, we really are trying to build this group of people, this community of people where we can sit there and have these conversations. Because let's be honest, this year has been one of those years. It's rough to sit there and truly understand what's going on with the Colts team. But you sit there and you get in these conversations and stuff, and you start hearing other points of view, and you're like, it just helps give you a more complete picture for yourself.
Absolutely. And also, guys, just FYI, it is the holidays. If you want to donate to the channel monetarily, feel free to do so, whether we're live streaming or not. If you do it when we're not, we will bring it up on the next one, because it is on our Streamlabs. Speaking of which, it's right there, but the link itself is at the top of the description of the video. And then, of course, being that it is the holidays, I got some really nice. I'm telling you what, my merch shop, the quality of the stuff is really damn good. Come check out the Colts Law merch shop. New items added every week. All sorts of items, from clothing to cups to cozies to backpacks, hats, just miscellaneous items that you can get around the house, even phone covers. Just check it out. Let me know. Send me a message. Hey, is there something that I'm missing? Go, feel free to ask. Have a good one. Do not miss our live game reaction tomorrow. It will start around 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, because sometime, probably around halftime, we're going to give away another one of these. All right, another autograph Believe shirt. All right, so make sure you come in and check that out. This one has a ton of people, including Jelani Woods and Bill Brooks. You remember the good old boy Bill Brooks, and that Grover Stewart is on here, right? Matt Taylor. You got all kind of guys on here. We'll make sure we get that giveaway for tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, guys. I see a ton in the chat here, and I wouldn't even know where to start. But talking about this Lions game and stuff, guys, let's remember, okay, that Lions team and this Colts team are very different. Okay, so let's don't get too lost, and not to mention every week's different. Okay, so let's don't get too lost in comparing them. Okay, because the thing is, the Lions don't have a JT at running back. Okay. Matt Ryan, the way Jared Goff has been playing, they're not comparable. So it's really easy to get lost in that. And I'm not trying to tell you how to be a fan. I'm just saying, let's don't just focus on that game. If you want to sit there and really think about it, look and see what the Vikings have done over the last 3 or 4 games.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for me and Loyalist today. Is there anything final you want to say?
Yeah, guys, like I said, we really appreciate you in here. If by any chance you happen to get to watch this stream later, just want to let you guys know, please get in there in the comments. Let us know what your predictions are. Let us know, maybe, things that you don't agree with, or just your own thoughts and opinions. We really do appreciate all the interaction and stuff. And not to mention that it helps the channel, but it helps us get to know who you guys are, and helps us to get to understand what it is that you guys are wanting for content, and not just alone with, your own ideas and opinions.
I read every damn comment. I don't always reply or click, it just depends upon the comment, but I read every damn one of them. All right. So just let you know. Until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That is Colts Loyalist. This was Colts Law. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.
The Indianapolis Colts are fighting their butts off. They're out there to win the game. All the players, all the coaches, they're out there to win. And if they do win, oh my goodness, everybody who's like tank for a quarterback, how are you going to react to that one? Talk to you later.